بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم. من يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. أما بعد فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها فإن كل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. Respected ones, we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala once again for making it possible and easy for us to converge in this great house of ease, Masjidu Bayt al-Izza. We are all gathered here at this particular period in time, not for the purpose of worldly benefit, but to see how we can strengthen our relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As such, I beseech Allah ta'ala to grant us understanding and to grant us conformity in whatever we shall be discussing today. Today is the night of Thursday, which is the 14th of Jumada al-Ula, 1444 years after the migration of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam from Mecca to Medina, which is in conformity with the 7th of December 2022. Inshallah, today we are going to start a book titled Manzumatu Irshad Talib al-Ilmi ila Tariq Fath Bab al-Ilm wal-Fahm. A poem on the guide of the student of knowledge. A poem on the guide of the student of knowledge to the path of opening the door of knowledge and understanding. This is the title of this particular book. And this particular poem is written by Al-Sheikh Al-Allama Al-Muhaddith Muhammad ibn Al-Sheikh Ali ibn Adam Al-Ethiopi Al-Wallawi. We ask Allah Ta'ala to have mercy upon him. Amen. In our class today, we are going to be looking at 2 or 3 major themes. Number one is the book itself. How come about this particular poem? Number 2 is the author of this particular poem. And number 3, we will look at some parts of the poem, inshallah ta'ala. To start with, this particular poem is not an independent book. It's not an independent book. It is extracted from a book written by the author titled Al-Fawaid Al-Sabiyya. Al-Fawaid Al-Sabiyya fi Qawaid wa Dawabit Ilmiyya. In that book, the author brought many poems. And out of the poems he brought is this one. This is the second poem he brought in that particular book, Al-Fawaid Al-Sabiyya fi Qawaid wa Dawabit Ilmiyya. So it's not that this book is an independent book. If you go to internet and you type Manzumatu Irshad Talib al-Ilm ila Tariq Fath Bab al-Ilm wal-Fahm, you will not see it. But when you type Al-Fawaid Al-Samiyya fi Qawa'ida wa Dawabiqa Ilmiyya, in that particular book you see this particular poem. So what is the reason why we extracted this poem? Because of the importance of the poem. Anyone who wants to engage in studying Islam should understand the concept of this particular poem. Secondly, it is part of the methodology of the scholars that whenever they treat book, they used to start by saying one or two things regarding the author of the book. The author of this particular poem, as we have mentioned, his name is Al-Sheikh Al-Allama Al-Muhaddith. All of these are titles. But his real name is Muhammad Ibn Al-Sheikh Ali Ibn Adam Al-Ethiopi Al-Wallawi. This particular scholar was born in the year 1366 years after the migration of the Prophet Muhammad from Mecca to Medina in Ethiopia. You know, Ethiopia used to be Abyssinia. That is Habasha. So this particular scholar was born in Ethiopia in this particular year mentioned 1366 years after the migration of the Prophet Muhammad from Mecca to Medina. And he died in the year 1442 years after the migration of the Prophet Muhammad from Mecca to Medina. That means he lived for how many years? How many years? He lived for how many years? He was born in the year 1666 years after Hijrah, and he died in the year 1442 years after Hijrah. How many years? Are we together? He died, he was born 1366. Okay. And he died 1442. So how many years did he live? 76. Barakallah. He spent 76 years on what? On earth. He started his knowledge. He started studying Islam from his father. His father too was a scholar of Hadith and Arabic language. So he started studying Quran, started memorizing Quran from his father, and also books of fiqh and Hadith. Until the father sent him to a scholar called Sheikh Al-Qayyus to complete his memorization in that particular town, Ethiopia. So he completed his memorization when he was young, very young. After which the father registered him in a conventional Islamic school. He was going to school, he was learning from his father, he was also learning from other scholars in the town. The ulama said he spent 30 years learning. He spent how many years learning? 30 years. Until he became a scholar too. He started teaching. He started having centers where people come to learn. So when he was 30 years, he traveled to Mecca to increase his knowledge. When he got to Mecca, he went to Kulliyatu Dar al-Hadith al-Khayriyya. When he went there, he applied. And they interviewed him. He was successful in the interview, but he does not have certificate. So they asked him, where is your certificate? He said, guess here, he doesn't have certificate. So they said to him, if you don't have certificate, we cannot after what? Admit you. He traveled with some of his friends. So when he left, some of his friends then went to meet the mudir, the director of that particular kulliyah, that this particular person in our town, he's a scholar, or in fact he's teaching people in our town. That it's not just an ordinary person, you know. Say the Mudir, is that how it is? Okay, let them call him and re-interview him. So they called him, they checked his memorization, it was intact. They checked him in all fields of Islamic knowledge. He was actually what? Surpassed. So they said, what we are going to do is that you will not be a student, rather you are going to be a teacher. He went to study, but he was given what? He was employed as a teacher. And he taught in Makkah for close to 35 to 36 years. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to have mercy upon him. So inshallah, this is just a kind of summary about the author. I am going to read the poem from the beginning to the end before we now start taking it one after the other. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Ya man yuridu fatha babil ilmi wa an yakuna bari'an fil fahmi faltattaqillaha wa talzamis sunan وابتعدا عن أهل سوء وفتن ولتسلكن في الهدي نهج السلف ولتبعدا عن ابتداع الخلف فكل خير في اتباع من سلف وكل شر في ابتداع من خلف يا من يريد أن يسود غيره في العلم ناشرا لكل خيره أخلص لربك وأعلي همتك ترى المواهب تحل صحتك فالجد منك ثم فتح الباب من ربك المهيمن الوهاب قد وعد المجاهدين بالهدى قال لنهدينهم فاسترشدا فالجد وحده يكون مهملا إن لم يكن بالفتح منه مكملا فرحم الله الكريم من غدا في مثل هذا العصر قد تجردا في طلب العلم الشريف معرضا عن كل ما يلهي ودنيا رافضا مشمرا عن ساك جد جافيا بين يدي أولي الرشاد واعيا وكاتبا جميع ما يسمعه من الفوائد التي تنفعه وحافظا مذاكرا ما نقل مع رفقائه الهداة النبلا فإن ذا يحظى بفتح الباب من ربه الكاشف للحجاب نسألك اللهم أن تكرمنا بالعلم والتقوى وجنة الهنا بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. In the name of Allah, the most beneficent, the most merciful. What is the wisdom behind starting a book with Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim? What is the wisdom behind starting a book with Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim? Why do the ulama used to start their book with Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim? The scholar said is to seek help from Allah wa tabarruk and seek what? Blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the ulama, they start their book with Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, seeking help and blessing from who? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So is there any reason why they started their book with Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim? Yes, there are three reasons why the scholars used to start their book with Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. The first reason is iqtida'u bi kitabillahi azza wa jalla. They do that emulating the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. لأن كل السور في القرآن مبتدئة بالبسملة. Because all the surah, all the chapters of the Quran actually begins with what? Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, with exception to Surah Al-Tawbah. It is only Surah Al-Tawbah. And if they ask us that why is it that there is no Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim in Surah Al-Tawbah, we say Hakada unzilat. That was how it was reviewed. I hope we are getting the concept. So this is the first evidence, emulating Allah. When you open the Quran, the first thing you see is what? Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. The second evidence is iqtida'u bin Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. They do that emulating the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, khasatan fi rasailihi, especially in his messages. The Prophet Muhammad wrote later to the king of Rome, and he asked his secretary to write Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim bi Muhammad Rasulillah ila Malika. He said you should write Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim from Muhammad, the messenger of Allah, to the king of Rome. So books now, all these Islamic books, they are in the position of later. And this is the reason why they start them with what? Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. The third reason is al-ijma'u al-amali. Al-ijma'u al-amali. What all those who have been writing books, right from the generation of the Sahaba, the Tabi'un, the Tabi'ut Tabi'in, they normally start their book with what? They are writing with what? Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Jama'ah, we understand this. May Allah Ta'ala continue to guide us. Now, when you look at this Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, it contains three names of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala: Allah, Ar-Rahman, and what? Ar-Rahim. So, what is the meaning of Allah? What's the meaning of Allah? Allah is Al-Ma'bud, the one that is what? That is worshipped. Are we together? Then Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim. What's the meaning of Ar-Rahman? Ar-Rahman, the scholar said, it has the sifa of Rahman. Ar-Rahim also has the sifa of what? Rahman. Rahman means mercy. Do we understand? So what is now the difference between Ar-Rahman and Ar-Rahim? If both of them have the attribute of mercy, what's the difference? The ulama said Ar-Rahman is the Rahman, the possessor of what? Of mercy, the owner of the mercy. Who is the owner of mercy? Allah. Then Ar-Rahim is alladhi yusilu rahma ila abidihi, the one that actually extends his mercy to who? To his servant. So Ar-Rahman, the possessor; Ar-Rahim, the one that what? That extends, that gives. The one we understand? Because when you go to Sarf, Ar-Rahman is ala wazni fa'alan. Anything that is ala wazni fa'alan is telling you that that thing is queued up. Ar-Rahim is ala wazni fa'il. Anything that is ala wazni fa'il is telling you that there is what? Extinction. Jama'ah, do we understand? So that's why we say Ar-Rahman, Allah is the owner of mercy, he is full of mercy. Ar-Rahim, he does not keep his mercy to himself. Rather, he extends it to whom he wills among his servants. This is why Al-Allama Al-Shaykh Muhammad ibn Salih Al-Uthaymin in Sharh Usul Al-Thalatha, he said when you combine these two names together, Ar-Rahman and Ar-Rahim, it gives you one who actually extends, one who actually bestows, one who actually, place his honor or his mercy upon whom he wills. Jama'ah, do we understand this? May Allah Ta'ala continue to guide us. The author said, Ya man yuridu fatha babil ilmi. Oh, he who wants to open the door of knowledge. Wa an yakuna bari'an. Bari'an bimana mutafawwikan. Ay mutafiyan fil fahm. And oh, you who wants to open the door of knowledge and to be superior in understanding. Oh, you who want to open the door of knowledge and to be what? To be superior in what? In understanding. So in this particular expression, there are three fawaid. There are how many fawaid? Three. There are three benefits. The first benefit is the methodology of the expression of the scholar. It's a sympathetic and well-mannered expression. Look at it, he said, oh. So this is a message to the scholars that you should be sympathetic. You should be well-mannered to who? To your students. I hope you are getting the concept. You should be sympathetic, well-mannered, and also tolerate your students. Because you as a scholar, you are in the position of a medical doctor. A medical doctor, no matter what the patient actually does to him, he will not stop treating such patient. So this is how a scholar should be. You should be sympathetic, you should tolerate your students. Because it is with this that you can impart the knowledge in your what? In your student. Allah told the Prophet ﷺ in the Quran. Allah said, فَبِمَا رَحْمَةٍ مِّنَ اللَّهِ لِنْتَ لَهُمْ وَلَوْ كُنْتَ فَضًّا غَلِيظَ الْقَلْبِ انفَضُّوا مِنْ حَوْلِكَ. Adibbi, you were large-hearted, you were harsh and large-hearted to them, the companions. Wallahi, they would have run away from you. So as a scholar, you must be what? You must be merciful, you must be sympathetic, you must be what? Well-mannered. This is the first benefit. The second benefit is that the author made knowledge here a house that is locked with a padlock. Who can access such house? Who can access such house? I'm asking us. Only the person that has what? The key to that padlock, isn't it? So the scholar is telling us here that we as students of knowledge, if we must access knowledge, we must have the following keys that is going to mention. Without these keys, you cannot open the door to enter into what? Into knowledge. Just as if you do not have the key to that padlock, you will not be able to enter that door, that locked room. Do we understand? This is the second one benefit. The third benefit is that the scholar mentioned al-ilm. He mentioned what? Knowledge. Ya man yuridu fatha bab al-ilm. Or he who wants to open the door of what? Knowledge. Please hold it. Knowledge. Then number two, wa an yakuna bari'an. And to be what? To be superior fil fahmi, in what? In understanding. Ma huwa al-ilm wa ma huwa al-fahm. What is knowledge and what is what? Al-fahm. What is understanding? Come on, work together. Because these two, they are the ummu maqsid. They have the mawduma. They are the central point of this particular word. Where? Al-ilm and what? Al-fahm. Knowledge and what? And understanding. So we are going to discuss these two extensively. What is knowledge? What is the meaning of knowledge in Islam? What are the sections? What are the phases of the types of knowledge? What are the importance of knowledge? How do you acquire knowledge? Who do you acquire knowledge for? What is understanding? What are the types of understanding? How do you acquire understanding? We are going to discuss this. To start with, al-ilm lahu ma'nayan. Knowledge has how many meanings? Two. Ma'na al-'am wa ma'na madha? Al-khas. The general meaning and the specific meaning. Generally, when you say knowledge, irrespective of Islamic knowledge or Western knowledge, knowledge generally is idraku shay. Idraku shay ala ma huwa alayhi idrakan jazima. This is what Al-Allama Sheikh Muhammad bin Salih Al-Uthaymeen said in Sharh Usul Thalatha. Idraku shay ala ma huwa alayhi idrakan jazima. To grasp something in the manner which it is firmly. To grasp something firmly in the manner which that thing is. This is what they call what? Knowledge. So when you understand anything in the manner which that thing is, it is called what? Knowledge. It will be said that you have knowledge about that thing. When you understand Quran in the manner which the Quran is, it is said that you have what? Quranic knowledge generally. When you understand mathematics in the manner which mathematics is, it is said that it will be said that what? You have knowledge of what? You have the knowledge of what? Mathematics. So this is knowledge generally. But when we come to the Sharia, man and khas, when they say knowledge, what do you mean of knowledge? Sharialistically, Al-Allama Al-Sheikh Muhammad bin Salih Al-Uthaymeen in Kitab Al-Ilm, he said, Al-Ilmu huwa ilmu ma anzala Allahu ala rasulihi min al-bayyinati wal-huda. Knowledge, when we say knowledge, Sharialistically, we are talking about the knowledge of that which Allah revealed to the Prophet, min al-bayyinat, of plain proofs, wal-huda, and what? And guidance. نلاحظ هذا التعريف يتضمن ثلاثة أمور. If we observe this particular definition, it comprises of how many things? Three. Al-Amr al-Awwal al-Munazzal is that the knowledge was what? Reviewed. Al-Amr al-Thani mabniyun, ilmun mabniyun ala al-bayyinat, a knowledge that is built upon what? Clear proofs. Al-Amr al-Thalith yahdi ila sirat al-mustaqim. It guides to the what? To the straight path. So when they say knowledge in Islam, this is the knowledge they are referring to. The knowledge of what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed to the Prophet sallallahu of plain proofs and what? And evidences. This is the reason why Al-Allama Shaykh al-Islam al-Thani Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyah in his Nuniyah, he said, Al-ilmu qala Allah wa qala Rasuluhu qala as-sahabatu hum ulul irfan. When we say knowledge in Islam, we're talking about Allah said, the messenger said, and the companions what? The companions. So what is the ruling of this knowledge in Islam? And Imam Abu Abdullah al-Qazwini, Muhammad ibn Yazid ibn Majah, in his Sunan, he reported an authentic hadith of Anas ibn Malik. Anas ibn Malik said the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Talab al-ilm fariidatun ala kulli muslim." Fariidatun min afad al-wujub. Anas ibn Malik said, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, seeking for knowledge, big knowledge now. Ilmu ma anzala Allah min al-bayyinat wal huda. Qala Allah, qala Rasuluhu, qala Sahaba. So the Prophet says, seeking for this knowledge is obligatory upon every Muslim. Somebody will say, but there is no Muslimah. This nakira here is a nakira to ghayru maqsuda. So even if they did not bring Muslimah here, as long as you are a Muslim, you are actually involved, you are inclusive in this particular word, expression of the Prophet. Seeking for Islamic knowledge is what? Is obligatory. But the question here is that, respected ones, is it obligatory on the youth alone, or including the youth and the adults? Not only the adults and the old ones. I'm asking us, is the obligation of knowledge confined to the youth or including the old ones? Because today you hear our fathers saying that this knowledge is for our children. If it is we cannot understand it. To me, whenever I hear old person saying this, I used to feel as if he's saying that children are the one that will enter paradise and we old people is hellfire that befit us. Because you cannot enter them now without what? Without knowledge. So knowledge is what? Is wajib. Knowledge is obligatory. But which knowledge is obligatory? Because the ulama, they said knowledge is divided into two. Knowledge is divided into what? Into two. The first knowledge, they said we have ilmun nafi', al-ilmun nafi' and al-ilmu ghayru nafi'. A beneficial knowledge and a non-beneficial knowledge. So which one is beneficial knowledge? They said that beneficial knowledge is divided into two again. Ilmu shar'i and ilmu dunyawi. A beneficial knowledge is the sharialistic knowledge, knowledge of Quran, knowledge of Hadith, knowledge of Aqidah. All this knowledge are wajib. I hope they are getting it. And our worldly knowledge, knowledge of medicine, knowledge of mechanics, knowledge of building, they are also what? They are obligatory. But which one take precedence? Jama, are we getting the concept? So ilmu shari is better than knowledge of mathematics, knowledge of medicine. But knowledge of mathematics, medicine and others, they are also very important. The scholars say we now have ilmu ghayru nafi'. Any knowledge that will catapult you from the path of Allah, ghayru nafi' is not beneficial. Philosophical knowledge is not a beneficial knowledge. Knowledge of seer, magic, ilmu ramlu, knowledge of checking with what called sand. All this knowledge, they are not beneficial knowledge. I hope you are getting the concept. So even in the worldly knowledge, we have knowledge that cannot be beneficial. Al-Allama Shaykh Muhammad ibn Salih al-Uthaymeen was asked that this worldly knowledge, what is the stand of the Sharia? He said, "In kana wasilatan ila al-khayr, fahuwa khayr." If it's a means to that which is good, is good. Wa in kana wasilatan ila al-shar, fahuwa shar. If it's also a means to that which is evil, is what? Philosophical knowledge will take you out of the path of Allah. So you don't need it. Jamal, do we understand? We are trying to discuss about which knowledge is obligatory. Because the obligation of knowledge, again, the scholar said it divided into fardul ayn and fardul kifaya. Individual obligation and what? Collective obligation. Which one is individual obligation? Knowledge that will help you to maintain your Islam is obligatory. You must learn it. Do we understand? But like the knowledge of sharing, inheritance, this knowledge is not obligatory upon you. It's a collective obligation. If some persons have learned it, then the sin will be lifted off what those who are not actually those who do not have the knowledge. Jama'ah, we together? So in another section again, the scholar said knowledge is divided into two. We have ulumul maqasid, ulumul al-maqasid, and ulumul ala. This one is very important. Ulumul maqasid and ulumul al-ala. Today, students give preference to ulumul ala above ulumul maqasid. That's why anybody see. It's only him, just to understand Arabic. I hope you are getting the concept. Wala Arabic language is ulumul ala. Ulumul maqasid, what the intended knowledge, the knowledge the Sharia wants you to have by default, is number one, ilmul aqidah. The knowledge of how to know Allah. The knowledge that will tell you that Allah is Allah. The knowledge that will tell you that don't give the right of Allah to any other than Allah. The knowledge that will tell you that leave Allah in Allah is ilmul aqidah. That knowledge is wajib. The knowledge of salvation, the knowledge of redeem, the knowledge of success in this world and hereafter, ilmul aqidah. In fact, is the first among the ulum al-maqasid. Then the second knowledge is the knowledge of Quran. As a Muslim, you must know how to recite Quran. It is a must. You must recite the Quran, not just anyhow. You must recite it with what tajweed. وَرَتِّلِ الْقُرْآنَ. Ibn Jazari said that وَالْأَخْذُ بِالتَّجْوِيدِ حَتْمُ لَازِمُ مَنْ لَمْ يُجَوِّدِ الْقُرْآنَ آثِمُ لِأَنَّهُ بِهِ الْإِلَهُ أَنزَلَ وَهَكَذَا مِنْهُ إِلَيْنَا وَصَلَ. Reciting the Quran with tajweed is wajib. If you not recite it with tajweed, you are committing sin. Do we understand? He said, holding on to tajweed and reciting the Quran is obligatory. مَنْ لَمْ يُجَوِّدِ الْقُرْآنَ آثِمُ. Whoever will not recite the Quran with tajweed is committing sin. لأنه به الإله أنزل, because it is in tajweed that Allah revealed the Quran. وهكذا منه إلينا وصل. And that is how the Quran actually got to us. So you must recite the Quran with what? With tajweed. Ilm al-Quran, you must learn it. Jama'ah, do we understand? Then you must also learn ilm al-tafsir. It's part of ulum al-maqasid. There's what called ilm al-suluk. Ilm al-suluk. Knowledge that has to do with your habits. It's a field. Your habit, your character. It will teach you character, habit, how to relate with people, how to relate with Allah, how to relate with animals, how to relate with the creatures of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This knowledge is also part of maqasid. Ulum al-fara'id, knowledge of inheritance is part of maqasid. The ulum al-ala is knowledge of Arabiya, knowledge of usul al-tafsir, knowledge of ulum al-Quran, knowledge of usul al-fiqh. All of these, they are under ulum al-ala. So the scholar said you give preference to maqasid before what? Ulum al-ala. Jama'ah, are we getting the concept? May Allah Ta'ala protect it. To know what are the importance of knowledge? What do you stand to gain when you learn knowledge? What do you stand to gain? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran, He said that هَلْ يَسْتَوِي الَّذِينَ يَعْلَمُونَ وَالَّذِينَ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ. Can you compare those who know to those who do not know? إِنَّمَا يَخْشَى اللَّهَ مِنْ عِبَادِهِ الْعُلَمَاء. Allah said those who fear Allah alone among His servants, they are the learned ones. Important of what? Knowledge. Al-Imam Abu Dawud al-Sijistani in his Sunan. Likewise, Al-Imam Abu Isa, Muhammad ibn Isa ibn Sawrat al-Tirmidhi in his Sunan. He brought the hadith of Abu Darda. Abu Darda said that Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, Man salaka tariqan yabtaghi fihi ilman sahhala Allahu lahu tariqan ila al-jannah. Anybody who enter into a path, desiring in that path knowledge, what was seeking for knowledge in that path, Allah will make easier for him the path of where? Jannah. It means one of the importance of knowledge is that it makes the path to Jannah look what? Easy for you. The Prophet ﷺ then said, وَإِنَّ الْمَلَائِكَةَ لَتَضَعُ أَجْنِحَتَهَا لِطَالِبِ الْعِلْمِ رِضًا بِمَا يَصْنَعُ. Subhanallah. Look at the angels first. That Allah said, لَا يَعْصُونَ اللَّهَ مَا أَمَرَهُمْ وَيَفْعَلُونَ مَا يُؤْمَرُونَ. Allah said, وَقَالُوا اتَّخَذَ الرَّحْمَنُ وَلَدًا سُبْحَانَهُ بَلْ عِبَادٌ مُكْرَمُونَ. Allah described them as honored servants. Allah described them as those who do not what? Go against the commandment, the instruction of Allah. But these angels, they will lower their wings for the student of knowledge. As you are going to seek for knowledge, the angels will lower their wings as a mark of being pleased with what you are doing. The Prophet said, وَإِنَّ الْعَالِمِ لَيَسْتَغْفِرُ لَهُ مَنْ فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَمَنْ فِي الْأَرْضِ. The Prophet said, verily, a learned person, one who has Islamic knowledge, all that is in the heavens and the earth, will be asking Allah that Allah forgive him. Because he has what? Islamic knowledge. He said, حَتَّى الْحِيتَانِ فِي الْمَاءِ, including the fishes in the river. Fish in the river will be telling Allah, Allah forgive me because he has Islamic knowledge. The Prophet said, وَفَضْلُ الْعَالِمِ عَلَى الْعَابِدِ كَفَضْلِ الْقَمَرِ عَلى سَائِرِ الْكَوَاكِبِ. The virtue, the advantage, the excellence, the superiority of a learned person above someone that is just worshipping Allah without knowledge is just like that of the moon and the earth and the star. Can you compare the stars to the moon? Just as the way you cannot compare the stars to the moon, that's how you cannot compare a learned person to one that is just worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Prophet did not stop there. He said, وَإِنَّ الْعُلَمَاءَ وَرَثَةُ الْأَنْبِيَاءِ. Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyah in Miftah Dar al-Sa'ada, he said, this particular expression indicates that the scholars are the best group of people after the prophets. Because he said the prophet, they are the best. All the prophets of Allah, they are the best of the creatures of Allah. So anybody that will inherit them will be among the best of the creatures of Allah. And look at the prophet said, وَإِنَّ الْعُلَمَاءَ وَرَثَةُ الْأَنْبِيَاءِ. Verily the scholars, they are the inheritors of whom? The prophets. Now somebody might be thinking that, is it that they inherited their land or their property? Is it the clothes or their sword? The Prophet said, وَإِنَّ الْأَنْبِيَاءَ لَمْ يُوَرِّثُوا دِينَارًا وَلَا دِرْهَمًا. The prophets, they do not actually inherit wealth. إِنَّمَا وَرَّثُوا الْعِلْمَ. What they inherited is what? Is knowledge. فَمَنْ أَخَذَهُ أَخَذَ بِحَظٍ وَافِرٍ. Anybody who holds on to knowledge, wallahi, has gotten a great share. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in Imam Bukhari and Muslim, in hadith of Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan, the Prophet said, "Man yuridillahu bihi khayran yufaqihuhu fid-din." Whoever Allah wants good for, it gives him the understanding of the religion. Not what? Not wealth. This hadith shows the importance of what? Knowledge. Go and check Sharh Sahih al-Bukhari of Ibn al-Battal. Ibn al-Battal brought an authentic author of what transpired between Imam Malik and his student Yahya ibn Yahya al-Laythi. Alayhima rahmatullah. Yahya ibn Yahya al-Laythi, he said, the first day I got to Imam Malik, what he told me, the first conversation between me and Imam Malik is that he asked me, Masmu, what's your name? And I told him that my name is Yahya. He said, when I told him that my name is Yahya, Imam Malik said, Ya Yahya, Ya Yahya, عليك الله الله يا يحيى الله الله عليك بالجد عليك بالجد بهذا الأمر وسأحدثك بحديث يركبك فيه ويزيدك عن غيره. He said, oh Yahya, I am begging you for the sake of Allah, I am attaching you with Allah. Make sure that you are very, 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 very serious. If this particular expression is correct, very, very, very serious. In what? In this part of learning. He said, well, I want to tell you a story. This story will actually buy your desire upon knowledge, and it will take away your desire from other than knowledge. He said, we were here in Medina when a young boy came from Sham to Medina. This boy came to learn. He said, we were studying together with this boy. We were going to Karatu together with what? With this boy. But at a tender age, he died. Imam Malik said this boy died. When this boy died, Imam Malik said in his own life, he has never seen where scholars were dragging to bath somebody, were dragging to carry a cup like that, the cups of that boy, the cup of that boy. He said Rabi'a, who was the scholar of the scholars there, he was dragging to be the one to bath the boy. He was dragging to be the one to carry the boy. He was dragging to be the one to put the boy in the grave. He was dragging to be the one to lead the prayer, the funeral prayer of the boy. So at the end, he was the one that led. So when this boy was buried, one of the righteous ones among us saw him in the dream 3 days after he was buried. And don't forget, you know, the dream of the believers is what? He saw him in the dream. When he saw him as if he was descending from the heaven with complete white clothes, green turban, and on complete white horse. As if the boy was coming straight to him. He said, هذا ما بلغني إليه العلم. He was telling this man that this is where knowledge has taken me to. The man said, what is that position that knowledge has taken you to? He said, أعطاني الله بكل باب تعلمته من العلم درجة في الجنة. Jamal, I don't know if you understand. He said, Allah gave me each chapter I studied. Each chapter I studied. Allah used it to increase my status in Jannah. We have been looked at Rakam Allah used it to increase his status in Jannah. Babu Salah, Kitabu Salah, Kitabu, all the abwa, Allah SWT used them to increase his status in where? In Jannah. But he said, yet my status was not up to the people of knowledge. You know, he died at a what? At a tender age. He said, Allah SWT kept on saying that they should increase for the inheritor of my prophet. For verily I have promised myself that anyone who died while seeking the knowledge of my sunnah or the sunnah of my prophet, or he already has the knowledge of my sunnah and that of my prophet, I am going to join them in the same place. So the boy said, he kept on increasing his status until he got to the status of the people of knowledge. So when I got to the status, there was only a barrier between me and the prophets. After the status of all the prophets, the next status is the disciples of all the prophets. After their own is our own status. He said Allah SWT did not stop there. Allah even promised him that on the day of Qiyamah, he is going to give him the permission to intercede for some persons. Allah also told him that he is pleased with him. And of course, the Prophet said, if Allah is pleased with you, Ibn Qayyim Jawziyah and Ibn Taymiyyah said, Allah will never get angry at you. So, Jama, Imam Malik said, when this story was narrated to us, there were some group of people who were learning with us before. They stopped learning. But when they had this story, they came again to Islam. This Abu Yusuf, in fact, is among the scholars in the madhab of what? Hanafiya. His father died too when he was small. The mother went to register him with somebody that used to bleach skin, change skin to bag, all those things, so that he can be getting money from them. But anytime he used to go to this bleacher, he would go to Karatu. Which person is Karatu? The Karatu of Imam Abu Hanifa. When the mother discovered that this boy was not going to where I registered him, the mother traced him down to where? The matrix of Abu Hanifa. When she got there, she told Abu Hanifa that this boy is an orphan. Allow this boy to be going to where I registered him. Abu Hanifa told the mother that if this boy to learn, perhaps one day he's going to eat a food called faludej. This faludej is a special food that even the rich people, they don't eat it all the time. I hope we are getting it. But the mother, for where she was not carried away by that, she forced the boy. The boy still came back home. Imam Abu Hanifa gave him 100 dirham. And he said, whenever this money finishes, let me, I'll give you more. But don't stop coming to Karatu. But like the boy kept on coming to, Abu Yusuf kept on coming to Karatu until he became a scholar. During the caliphate of Muawiyah, Harun actually, gave him a qadi, a judge. He was a judge. Because he became a scholar. He was what? He was given the mountainship of what? Of a judge. So one day he was with the king, Harun, and the king invited him. He said, yeah, Abu Yusuf, come and join us in eating Faruzej. Jama, are we getting it? When the king said that, he smiled. The king asked that, why did you smile? He now mentioned what Abu Hanifa told his mother some years ago. As at that time, Abu Hanifa was no longer alive. The king now said, Inna al-ilma la yanfa'u wa yanfa'u fi dunya wal akhirah. There is no doubt that knowledge will benefit in this world and hereafter, and knowledge will increase a person's status in this world and hereafter. يَرْفَعِ اللَّهُ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا مِنْكُمْ وَالَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْعِلْمَ دَرَجَاتٍ. Allah will elevate the rank of those who believe among you and those who are given what? Harun then prayed for Abu Hanifa. He said, رَحِمَ اللَّهُ أَبَا حَنِيفَةَ يَرَى بِعَيْنِ قَلْبِهِ مَا لَا يَرَى بِعَيْنِ رَأْسِهِ. He sees with the eyes in his heart what he cannot see with the eyes on his forehead. You know, at that time he's no longer alive. But look at, he said, leave this boy, but how funny he's going to eat what? Faludeh. And what actually made him to eat that food? Al-ilm. Jama'a Wallah, we cannot exhaust the importance of what? Knowledge. This our ta'aleem here. It's not just ta'aleem, it's ta'aleem and wa'af. I hope you are getting it. It's learning and admonition. That's the way I want us to actually, see it. Jama'a, do we understand? And in the final note on the importance of knowledge is the hadith of Imam al-Tirmidhi, hadith of Abu Kabshat al-Ammari. Abu Kabshat al-Ammari said, the Prophet said, إِنَّمَا الدُّنْيَا لِأَرْبَعَةِ نَفَرٍ. He said, this world is for 4 categories of persons. It's for how many categories of persons, Jamal? Are we together? Yes. Number 1, the Prophet said, عَبْدٍ رَزَقَهُ اللَّهُ مَالًا وَعِلْمًا. A servant that Allah gave wealth and knowledge. This is the first category. Allah gave him wealth. Allah also gave him what? Knowledge. But because of that knowledge now, for who I effectively robber, if yes, Allah consign that his wealth. It does not, it does not commit sin without his wealth. وَيَسِمْ فِيهِ رَحِمًا. We maintain the family ties without his wealth. وَيَعْلَمُ لِلَّهِ فِيهِ حَقًّا. And he knows the right of Allah in that wealth. What's the right of Allah in our wealth, Jama? The Prophet says, فَهَذَا بِأَفْضَلِ مَنَازِلِ. Its person is in the best position. The second category is Abdin رَزَقَهُ اللَّهُ عِلْمًا وَلَمْ يَرْزُقْهُ مَالًا. Allahu Akbar. Allah gave him knowledge, but he does not have wealth. Allah gave him knowledge, but he does not have what? But because of knowledge, he has good intention. Look at what he's saying. لو أن لي مالا لعملت بعمل فلان. Oh Allah, I didn't mean I have money. I will be spending my money the way that man with wealth and knowledge is spending his money. The Prophet said, فهو بنيته فأجره مع سواء. Because of his intention, he has the same reward with that man. Please, what made him to have the same reward with that man? Knowledge, nothing. The third category, the Prophet said, Abdin رَزَقَهُ اللَّهُ مَالًا وَلَمْ يَرْزُقْهُ عِلْمًا. He has wealth but no knowledge. Jama'a Wallah, if you have knowledge, you are more than somebody that do not have wealth. That's why do not belittle yourself before anybody. If Allah give you knowledge, don't damage yourself before any rich man. Hey, Wallah, you are richer than him. Do we understand? Yeah. Be patient, Allah will help you. Hey, don't think that your life is in their hands. Wallah, don't believe. If you stand firm, Wallah, even that rich man will help you. If you stand firm, there was a one-time commissioner. This man held two commissioners at a time. During Hebrew, 2 commissioners at a time. He used to pray in my masjid. Wallah, this man will see. Anytime I preach, he will attack me. I hope we are getting the concept. Wallahi tallahi, man. If you see where we are discussing with this man, you will be afraid. You say, man, is it that you don't want to be rich? In fact, the man was even amazed the way I used to challenge him. If he says something that is not Islamic, I used to meet him and explain to him. He said common sense. I said, no, there's nothing like common sense in Islam. You graduated from England. I hope you are getting it now. But what you studied in England is not Islamia. What we are discussing here is what? It's Islamia. But like this man will share money. You know, I'm the imam of the masjid where he pray. He will not give me anything. He will take money to another masjid and share. I hope you are getting it. He has been assisting people, but he saw that I was firm. He saw that I was firm. Time without numbers, he started inviting me for Sabu and Iftar. I refused to go. Wallah, Jama, I want to tell you that this man today, there is nothing he will do except that he will call me. He will ask me the man, Alpha. When I got married, my friends that came from Sokoto and Zaria, he was the one that rented hotel for them. But I didn't mean I've already debased myself before him, maybe because he was commissioner for something and something. Wallahi, that the time of I did not even ask him to assist me. But because he saw the firmness. So as a student of knowledge, don't debase yourself before anybody. If you have knowledge, wallahi, you are better than somebody who do not have knowledge. Except if that person that has wealth has knowledge too. I hope you are getting it. So Abdin razaqahu Allahu malan wa ilman wa lam yarzuqhu malan. Allah gave him knowledge but he does not have wealth. The third one is Allah gave him wealth, no what? No knowledge. So because there is no knowledge, for what yashbitu fi malihi bighayri ilm. He spends his wealth without knowledge. Anywhere there is party is there. Prostitutional center is there. Any club, mention the club is there. He changed women's like Akampa. Now you think if he run back, he doesn't feel Allah consign that well. They use it to even oppress you. And sometimes you can even snatch your own wife. You know, because he's rich. When I yes, he does not maintain the family ties with that wealth. When I he does not even care about the right of Allah in the wealth. The Prophet said, "Fahada bi akhbath al-manasib." This person is in the worst position. He has wealth, but still is in the worst position. The Prophet said, the last person is Abdin. Lam yarzuquhu Allahu malan wa la ilma. No wealth, no knowledge. You know what's funny? It's zero, bro. Zero. Thank you. So because he does not have knowledge, look at his own bad intention. Lo anna imana la amiltu fihi bi amal fulan. Oh Allah, if you give me money, the way this man with wealth, without knowledge, is spending his money, that's how me too will be spending my own. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, فَهُوَ بِنِيَّتِهِ فَوِزْرُهُ مَا سَوَى. This man, because of his intention, he has the same word, sin without Adam. Importance of what? Knowledge. How do you acquire knowledge? Is it from internet? Because today there's what we call ulama internet. We have yani scholars of internet. Before you say one or two things, he has already Googled it. Man rama al-ilma bighayri shaykhin. Anybody who takes knowledge without a word, without a scholar, wallahi, the scholar said he will even be worse than Tumal Hakimi. You know Tumal Hakimi? He was a man who read the hadith that the Prophet said, al-habbatu sawda dawa likulli da. How can I call the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam? That habbatu sawda is a cure to all forms of what? Sickness. So it's like there was typographical error. Instead of ba, there was ya. So he now read it as al-hayyatu sawda dawa likulli da. How can I call the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam? How can I call? He now read it as black snake is a cure to all forms of what? Sickness. So instead of him to treat people with what? Habbatu sawda, he was treating them with black snake and killing them. I hope you are getting it. You know, I didn't be studying from a scholar. A scholar would have read that particular hadith I wrote. The scholar will not tell him that, no, this place is error, it's al-habbatu. Because the scholar will have the original word. How the hadith is started from somewhere? Jamal, do you understand? Importance of what? So how to acquire knowledge is that you go to meet a scholar. You don't learn what? Alone. Somebody who understands Arabic alone is not a scholar. Because Arabic alone is not knowledge. A brother who understands Arabic, he came and was challenging people. He said, the Prophet said, give your daughter's house for sadaqah. If you want to be having reward after your demise, give your daughter's house for sadaqah. The Prophet said, "Idha mata ibn Adam, in qata amaluhu illa min salah." How come I can't use salah? He said, "Sadaqatun jariyah." You know the meaning of jariyah in Arabic, a young girl. So he said, the Prophet said, "Give your young girls, children out." And if he's studying for a scholar, he will know that jariyah is not girl. I hope you are getting the concept. So the first step of acquiring knowledge is what? Is to get a scholar. So, is it any other scholar? Muhammad ibn Sirin in the Muqaddimah of Sahih Muslim, he said that إِنَّ هَذَا الْعِلْمَ دِينٌ فَانْظُرُوا عَمَّنْ تَأْخُذُونَ دِينَكُمْ. He said, this knowledge is your religion. Be careful of whom you take your religion. You don't just learn from any other scholar. Abdullah ibn Abbas in the Muqaddimah of Sahih Muslim, he said, كُنَّا مَرَّةً إِذَا كَانَ الرَّجُلُ قَالَ رَسُولُ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وسلم ابْتَدَرُوهُ وَأَبْصَارْنَا وَأَسْقَيْنَا إِلَيْهَا ظَنًّا فَلَمَّا رَكِبَ النَّاسَ الصَّعْبُ الظَّلُولُ لَمْ نَأْخُذْ إِلَّا عَمَّنْ نَعْرِفُ. He said, once upon a time, whenever a person comes to the masjid and he says, Allah, Qala Rasul, we will focus, we will pay attention to that person. But when people began to pass misinformation about the Prophet, Allah will not take knowledge except from people that we know. Imam Namali, he said that أَدْرَكْتُ السَّبْعِينَ مِمَّنْ يَقُولُ قَالَ رَسُولُ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وسلم. He said, in this masjid of the Prophet, I've met 70 people who were saying قَالَ رَسُولُ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وسلم. I've never pronounced this. So it's not anyhow person you take what? Knowledge from. The scholar you take knowledge from must be a scholar that inclined to Quran, Sunnah upon the understanding of the Sahabas. Jamal, do we understand? No. So now, how do you maintain your knowledge? That is the final step. How do you maintain your knowledge. Al-Imam Abu Yusuf or Abu Umar Yusuf Ibn Abdul Barr al-Namiri al-Maliki, in his book Jami'u Bayan al-Ilmi wa Fadlihi, he brought the statement of Abdullah ibn Mubarak. Abdullah ibn Mubarak said, Inna awwal al-ilm al-niyya. Inna awwal al-ilm al-niyya. The first step to knowledge is to purify your intention. Thumma listima, then listen attentively. Thumma al-fahm, then understanding. Thumma al-hifz, then you do what? You memorize. Thumma al-amal, then you implement that knowledge. Thumma al-nashr, before you now do what? You spread that knowledge. So a student of knowledge must perfect 6 things to become a student. You must perfect your level, your intention. Then number 2, you must perfect your listening skills. Don't go to a learning center with your phone. With your phone. Or if you must go with your phone, put it not on vibration but on silent mode. But anything that will distract your attention, or like, keep that thing away from you. Jamal, do you understand? So this will help you to listen well. And when you listen well, this will give birth to what? Better understanding. Jamal, do you understand? When you observe that you don't understand something that your scholar said, don't leave that place until you what? You ask. When you do that, this will give birth to better memorization. When you understand, you'll be able to memorize. So your memorization, then you need to perfect it. You need to be repeating it tirelessly. This will give birth to better implementation. Because you'll be working with what? Evidence. I hope you are getting it. So you need to perfect your own action again. Well, I don't go beyond what you have learned. And don't go below what you have learned. This will give birth to better emulation. People that are emulating you will be doing what is registered in the Quran and the Sunnah. Then spreading the knowledge. How do you spread knowledge? With simplicity. Perfect your spreading of knowledge. Don't be insulting people. Don't tell people that you are going to hellfire. I hope you are getting it. No matter how pediatric that person is, don't tell that person that you are going to hellfire. Don't tell that person that you are on misguidance. Talk to people in a what? Jama, do we understand? So we are done with what? An aim. Are we together? Please, are we getting it? You know the author that said, وَأَنْ يَكُونَ بَارِعًا فِي الْفَهْمِ, and to be superior in what? Understand? What is al-fahm? The scholar said al-fahm is يعني إدراك العلم. إدراك العلم وحسن تصور معناه is to grasp knowledge and to picture its meaning in a perfect manner. This is what we call understanding. To comprehend something such that you picture its meaning in the exact manner, without any addition, no what? This is what they call al-fahm. And this one, the scholar said, is divided into 2. We have al-fahmul gharizi, al-fahmu al-gharizi, the natural understanding. There are some people, Allah bless them, naturally. And as you are just saying it, once they listen, wallahi, they have understood. I hope you are getting the concept. Then we have al-fahmul iktisadi, the one that you must be the one to actually to force it. You must be the one to establish it. So the scholar said there are 4 ways also that you can earn understanding. If you want to earn understanding, there are many ways. 4 ways. Number 1 is al-ikhlas, sincerity. سأصرف عن آياتي الذين يتكبرون في الأرض بغير ماذا؟ Allah said, I will turn away from my verses those who are arrogant on the earth without due right. So be do whatever you are seeking for knowledge. Make sure that you are doing it for the sake of who? Allah subhanahu. That is number 1. Are we together? Number 2 is ta'atullahi wa ijtinabul ma'asi. Obey Allah and abstain from what? Disobeying Allah. If you want to have understanding, you must obey Allah first. You must abstain from disobeying Allah. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu in tattaqullaha yaj'al lakum furqana. Allah said, oh, you have believed, if you fear Allah, Allah will give you a criteria. Al-Imam Abdul Rahman al-Sa'di in his Tafsir Taysir al-Karim al-Rahman, he said that furqana is al-ilmu wal-huda. Al-ilmu والهدى الذي يفرق به صاحبه بين الهدى والضلال والحق والباطل والحلال والحرام وماذا؟ وأهل السعادة من أهل الشقاوة. He said what the people of Quran here is knowledge and guidance. So if you fear Allah, Allah will give you what? Allah will give you knowledge. Go and check Al-Nubath في آداب طلب العلم of الشيخ Hamd ibn Ibrahim al-Uthman. He brought the statement of Imam Malik to Imam Shafi'i. Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyya in A'lam al-Muwaqqi'in. Some scholars call it I'lam al-Muwaqqi'in, but the correct pronunciation is A'lam al-Muwaqqi'in. He also brought this statement. And Imam Shafi'i, when he got to Imam Malik, look at what Imam Malik told him. He said, Inni ara an Allah قد ألقى في قلبك نورا قد ألقى في قلبك نورا فلا تطفئه بالمعصية. Said, I'm seeing that Allah has actually placed into your heart the light of understanding. Do not quench this light with what? With disobedience. So act of disobedience will reduce your level of what? Understanding. We have mentioned how many ways now to earn understanding. The first one is what? The second one is what? Obeying and abstaining from what? The third one is كثرة التكرار وإمعان النظر. بمعنى المراجعة يعني you have to be revising a lot. Anybody want to have understanding, you must revise what? A lot. You must not. I've never seen a student of knowledge that sleep at night. Yes, I've never seen a student of knowledge that sleep at night. Now, you must revise. And the scholar said, Muraja tanqasimu ila qismayn. Muraja is divided into two. We have Muraja'atul Quran and also Muraja'atul Al-Fahm. Muraja of Qira'a, the revision of recitation. If you want to revise your recitation, this one you are going to say it in a loud voice. Well, revision of understanding. This one you are going to say it in a low voice such that it is only you that can be hearing it. It's not like you'll be looking at the book that you say you are doing Muraja. No. To come through to Muraja, you must be reading a lot of what? Muraja. Whatever you read, make sure that you revise it. I hope you are getting it. So when you are supposed to memorize it, make sure that you perfect the memorization. And in the course of memorizing, you repeat tirednessly. Well, even if sometimes you just read something 2 times and it has entered, don't be deceived. Well, keep on looking at it. A sheikh in Misra, in the masjid, he was memorizing a particular book. He was repeating a particular portion. The woman that came to sweep the masjid, she said, Adrabullah, it's okay that even me that I'm listening to you, I've already memorized what you are saying. Like the sheikh did not answer her. After a few days, the sheikh saw I said, that thing I was memorizing, please, can you record it? The woman said, for where? It has gone. I thought the sheikh said, this is what I was trying to run away from. So you must do a lot of what? Muraja. Then the final one is, you must pray. You pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If there is no help from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, all your effort will be what? So we need Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us. Inshallah ta'ala, we are going to stop here. In our next class, we'll now start taking what? The keys. Do you understand? The keys that we use to open the door of what? I take it in summary. Ya man yuridu fatha babil ilmi. O he who wants to open the door of knowledge. Wa an yakuna bari'an fil fahmi, and to be superior in understanding. Whatever I've said that is wrong, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive me. Whatever I've said that is correct, I beseech Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to reward each and every one of us abundantly. In our next class, inshallah, we are going to see how we summarize, inshallah ta'ala. This book, there is no any commentary written on it. Do we understand? So whatever I'm telling you is what I got from my own teacher and my own personal research. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to reward my teacher, Amur Faida Muhammad Kabir, Hafidhullah ta'ala. Assalamu alaikum.